Part 2 will introduce conditions 1 and 2. Condition 1 is that one believes that they have absolute moral values. An absolute moral value is absolute because it never changes in any situation, even theoretically speaking. There is no theoretical situation where something that is absolutely wrong can be right, or where something that is absolutely right can be wrong. For example, maybe you believe that stealing is morally wrong all the time, and that there is no situation where stealing is right. If that is true, then you have an absolute moral value. Or maybe you think that stealing is absolutely right, and that there is no situation where it is wrong. If that is true, then you have an absolute moral value. It doesn't matter what the moral value is, so long as one thinks that it is absolute. For this reason, Mother Teresa, who is a Catholic saint, John Wilkes Booth, who is an assassin, and Joseph Stalin, who is a ruthless dictator, all meet condition 1. They each had their own moral values they practiced, and they each thought in their own mind that those moral values were absolute. For those who meet condition 1, condition 2 must also be true. Condition 2 is that the moral values from condition 1 need a source. Premise 1 for this argument is that if one has a beginning, then they receive everything they have at some point after that beginning. In other words, we have nothing that was not given to us at some point after we were born. Premise 2 is that if one receives whatever they have after their beginning, then that includes their moral values. So moral values would be included in the list of things we receive. Premise 3 states that if one's moral values are received, then they need a source. This is by definition. Premise 4 states that we have beginnings. We are not eternal beings, we have definite birthdays, and everything that we have, including our moral values, was given to us. For us to not have received our moral values from somewhere would mean that we have always had them for as long as time has existed, which is not possible. We are calling the source of the absolute moral values in condition 1 X because we know nothing more about it. X could be a grain of sand, a race of aliens from the planet Neptune, Brad Pitt, or a weather balloon. We have no idea what it is at this point. We are making X the only source of the absolute moral values in condition 1. For example, a person could get some of their moral values from their parents, some from their religion, and some from what society tells them. In that case, we are lumping all three of those sources together and calling them X. That is the end of Part 2. Part 3 will explain some attributes of X that must be true for the moral values that it gives to remain absolute.